Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Instacar HK episode. Today we're reviewing a very special American muscle car, being this 1969 Mercury Cougar convertible. Now this is actually a Ford because Mercury is a more luxurious and prestigious division of Ford, and the Cougar is one of Mercury's most successful models. It was produced between 1967 to 2002, and in that 30-odd years of production, Mercury made various models of the Cougar, from two-door coupes to convertibles to four-door sedans to hatchbacks and station wagons. But the most collectible Cougars would be the early ones between 1967 and 1973. The early Cougars are actually based on the Ford Mustang, sharing a lot of parts including engine, transmission, and suspension. But because the Mercury is intended to be a more luxurious and comfortable and bigger version of the Ford Mustang, it has had a lot of enhancement, including a lot of parts specifically made for the Cougar, which we'll go into. But basically, they say that the Mercury Cougar was intended to be placed between the more sporty Ford Mustang and the even bigger and more luxurious Ford Thunderbird. So once again, we're very fortunate where the owner has allowed us to go for a test drive in their Pride and Joy. And I must say this is my first time driving a shipping vessel in Hong Kong. I'm joking obviously, but this car is huge. You immediately notice how much space you have in front of you, next to you, behind you. That front bonnet looks like it goes on for 2 miles. It's a big car, and I anticipate it will be a little, it will take a little time to get used to driving on the other side of the road, given the size. It will be harder to adapt than compared to the Corvette we tried last time, which was smaller. But nevertheless, it's a good day, clear road, so we'll see how it goes. And before we start, I wanted to show you guys this seat belt. The buckles are very neatly placed in the middle center console here, which I thought was very cool. So the car is on carbs, but it's quite easy to start. You just give it one step on the pedal and immediately springs to life. It's a 3-speed automatic, so no clutch to worry about. So let's give it a go. Put it down to D, and there is a step-on handbrake, so you have to pull to release. Okay, let's go. All right. Now this car has the 351 cubic inch V8 engine, which I will go into detail later. But it's pumping out above 350 horsepower, and immediately you can really hear the American engine noise. It's certainly louder and with a thicker note than the Corvette we tried last time, which has a small block. It's very easy to drive. I mean, it was created to be a luxurious, prestigious Ford, more of a cruiser type American muscle than the sporty Mustang fastback type, and you can feel it immediately. This is a very cruising, comfortable American muscle car. I mean, we picked a long dual carriageway today. You can imagine, if you're in the United States on Highway 1, this is a very comfortable car, very comfortable steering. The ride is soft and comfortable. Lots of torque, as you would imagine, so going this uphill is no problem whatsoever. But it really gets scary because the car is so wide. It's really hard to predict how far I am away from the wall. But so far so good. The engine sound does sound very American. This is your American muscle V8. The brakes are a bit soft, but it works. You're not scared. You step on it and you feel the speed decreasing adequately. There are no, hairy moments where you're thinking, am I able to stop this multi-ton car? Visibility is great, as you imagine. You have a big, wide front windshield. Rest of the car is open top. just listen to that American V8 muscle. So when you're doing turns, there's no question that it's not exactly your, European handling standard. The car is wobbly, it does feel like a ship. But then this is not what the Mercury Cougar is about. So the Mercury Cougar we have here today is a 1969 convertible, which was the first year they started making convertible Cougars. It was originally manufactured in the Michigan factory plant of Ford, and it was only one of 369 Cougars from that year that was made in this beautiful blue color. The car resided in the United States for most of its early life, particularly in Chicago, until the current owner bought the car in 2013 and drove it himself to Vancouver, where it stayed for another 3 years before it moved to Hong Kong in 2016. The owner of this car is actually a frequent attendee of Classic Car Club events in Hong Kong, so most of you would have seen this HK Cat before, Cat being the common nickname for the Mercury Cougar. Now, as mentioned before, the Mercury Cougar was based on the Ford Mustang, but it was intended to be a more luxurious and prestigious version of the Mustang. So it has a lot of different parts, that was specific and unique to the Cougar. First of all, the car is a lot bigger than the Ford Mustang, being 3 inches longer than the already rather huge Mustang. Secondly, the design is completely unique, including this hideaway headlight, which really reminds me of the Dodge Charger of a similar era. The taillights are also very cool with this very new, at the time, sequential turn signal lights. This car uses a 351 cubic inch engine, and from my Corvette video, you'll remember that each cubic inch is actually 0.0164 liter. So this car, if you times it by that, is about 5.8 liter. It's a V8 engine pumping out about 350 horsepower. As we saw just now on the road, it is quite powerful and quite torquey. Now, the owner of this car does a lot of work himself, and he has done a lot of work into the engine, which I'll show you now. Now, these early Cougars didn't have a latch inside. You can open the engine bonnet directly from the outside, which, security reasons aside, it's actually pretty neat. When you look at this very shiny, brand new looking engine, most of the parts were either fixed or replaced or polished by the owner himself in the car park in Hong Kong. These include new electric fans for the radiator, which is a must-have for a climate like Hong Kong, and a new alternator and a brand new air conditioning system installed by the owner himself. So the car is actually very Hong Kong ready now, with good cooling both inside the engine and inside the cabin. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoy driving this car. If you have, please like and subscribe, and we'll have more videos to share very soon. Thank you.